Lesson 80, Fancy Distance Problems. In the last lesson, we learned about work problems. Those have equations with more than one x. There are also some distance problems that can be solved with equations that have more than one x. These are a little harder than the distance problems that you've been doing. So let's go through an example, and I'll show you how to tackle these. Hal and Larry are headed straight toward each other. Hal is driving at a safe speed of 55 miles per hour, but Larry's driving recklessly at a speed of 75 miles per hour. If the two are 260 miles apart, how many hours will it be before they meet, assuming Larry can keep his car on the road? What makes this problem a little harder is that there are two drivers instead of just one. But the first step's still the same. We need to make x equal the thing we're trying to find. We want to know the number of hours it will take the two to meet, so that's x. Now, we know that Hal and Larry are going to meet somewhere between where they start out. But it won't be in the middle because Larry's going faster than Hal. It's going to be somewhere over to the left, about right here, because Larry's going to go farther than Hal will. We don't know how far each one of them will go, but we do know this. The total distance that both of the guys will travel has to equal 260 miles. And that's because they started out 260 miles apart. And that's the key piece of information we need to set up the equation. What we need to do is add Hal's distance to Larry's distance, and then that total has to equal 260. This is the way the equation needs to be set up. And then the next step is to put in the x's in the numbers. You know from doing other distance problems that distance always equals speed multiplied by time. Well, we know Hal's speed is 55 miles per hour, and his time is x hours. That's what we're trying to figure out. That's how long he's going to drive. It's just x for right now. And so Hal's distance is going to be speed multiplied by time, which is 55 times x. And then we can do the same thing for Larry's distance. Larry's speed is 75 miles per hour, and he's going to drive for x hours. And so speed multiplied by time is going to be 75 times x. Why don't you go ahead and put in 75x for Larry's distance? Good. We've got 55x for Hal's speed and 75x for Larry's speed, and putting these in gives us the finished equation. And you can see that it's another equation with x's that need to be combined. And you already know how to handle something like this. We've been solving a lot of equations of this type. Why don't you combine 55x plus 75x by adding their coefficients? Go ahead. Excellent. And now we have an equation with just one operation, multiplication, and we can undo by dividing. Go ahead and put in the number we need to divide both sides by. Good job. Now put in what the left side should equal. Perfect. Then the last step is 260 divided by 130. I'll do this one for you. Actually, it turns out to be just 2. And so the answer to our problem is x equals 2, which means it'll take 2 hours for Hal and Larry to meet.